Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Mindset Explosion Season 2, episode... Did I say episode 62?
Yeah.
It did, yeah. So today we're talking about how hard work pays off and achieving your goals. I've been joined today by a very special person. It's one of my first ever students when I started teaching martial arts in Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was way back in 2005.
Was it 05?
No, 2007, excuse me.
2007.
No, I started as an instructor in 2005.
Yeah. 05.
Came here 2 years after. So, Gareth, you've had a massive journey, and it's always a pleasure because you're always popping back in to say, hey, how's it going, and sharing how far you've gone. I'm so proud of you. So I thought today would be pretty cool to get you back in again before you shoot off on this next exciting journey in your life.
Yeah.
Talk about a little bit how, you came to set that goal, and then some of the hardships that you've had along the way, how you overcome them. And even though, we obviously we're on our Cheltenham martial arts page, so better say how the martial arts helped a little bit, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah, of course.
So let's go back, right? We got to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Paint the picture of where he was. Where was that? 2007, right?
2007,
I'm sure you started about that time.
I think it was about 2007. Yeah, off the top of my head. I was considerably shorter than I am now.
Less facial hair.
Less facial hair.
Yeah.
I was about. God, it must have been.
I think he was in we reckon
end of year 4, start of year 5.
something like that. Yeah, maybe.
I
think around about the start of year 5, from what I remember.
8, 9, something like that. No.
Yeah.
Or somewhere around that age.
Around that time, yeah.
For the age of 10 at least.
Yeah.
And I was incredibly had very little confidence in myself. I was very shy. I got bullied a fair amount in kind of in primary school.
Yeah.
And it had a massive knock-on effect on my confidence.
Yeah, which we've seen.
Yeah.
So did you decide to come along, or did your mum and dad say you're going?
A fair amount of it. My mum was lucky enough to be kind of caught by one of the other instructors you had with you at the time, on the high street here in Cheltenham, and kind of got talking to my mum about the confidence that martial arts brings and all the excellent things that it can do for you. And then my mum signed me up for a trial. I, of course, being the timid, very lack of confidence person that I am, was very much like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to step outside my comfort zone. But alas, she kind of brought me along, and it took time for me to get used to it. I'd be crying or being
I remember
upset
you crying in the class.
In most classes to start off with,
just
because it was a new place, new people. I didn't know.
But as well, because I remember you used to train at 8 o'clock Monday and Wednesday. So that's how good my memory is. And that was before I had the age-specific classes, so you were with adults as well. Yeah. So it must have been quite intimidating.
It was. I can remember it. Yeah, I can. Well, it was more a thing of, I dare say I would have had the same reaction if I was in with.
I think so. Yeah.
Kids,
yeah.
but as well, I think it was probably better that I wasn't in with the kids, because if I was acting like that. Other kids also trying to do martial arts, it might have had more of a knock-on effect, whereas at least with the adults, I think they're all kind of like heel.
Yeah. But I guess as well, I remember it happening, but I don't think you ever left the class.
No, it was.
You might have wanted to.
Yeah, I might have wanted to, but also we had the the viewing.
Yes, Mum and Dad was watching.
So my mum would be in there and what have you. And I remember being in the fan shaking, just crying, and then looking over into the thing. And
see, that's how you felt it. But what I seen was your hands would be up.
Yeah.
You would have some tears. Tears sometimes would be streaming down your face, and I didn't really want to. It was hard because I didn't want to push, but at the same time I didn't want to, hold on. And I just come on, right, go faster. So even though that was happening, there was this. I don't know what I would have said in class, but I knew something must have clicked, because it was like you were releasing all this negative emotion. Yeah. And so what happened with the bullying? Did it?
It was still kind of there, but it's kind of learning to not so much not let it affect you, but knowing how to carry yourself in a way that it diminishes it in terms of volume, and also it diminishes its effect.
Yeah.
Because so much of bullying for children in schools, there's
psychological, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it is psychological, and there's only so much you can actually stop to. Kids are going to be mean. Kids are going to be kids. It happens, and it's awful that it happens, but it's something that you just kind of it's important for children to have that confidence to be able to carry themselves right, so that they are exuding that confidence. So then it just kind of acts almost like a shield. Allows it to bounce off.
So do you think you got like a little bit more confident yourself? First, right? Don't matter what anyone thinks or they got to say, because you become more confident yourself, and then, like you said, do you think? Well, I noticed that you obviously the crying didn't last too long in the classes. Your confidence came out quite a lot, and with adults really, and then you were able to then didn't matter. You started to make friends at the academy, of course, and
it was a cyclical thing, because as I gained more confidence from doing the martial arts initially, I then had more confidence to take into my day-to-day life. And then because I had more confidence in my day-to-day life, and I noticed things were going better there, and I was enjoying myself more at school, I had more confidence in myself, and I brought that into the class. It was just a
snowball effect.
It was a cycle of positive energy. It was.
So then I remember we had a demo team then.
Yes.
I remember your audition was to Adamant.
It was, it was to Adamant.
And it was, you could see the confidence had grown so much. You made it on, just from that, because we knew it was going to have such a knock-on effect to the rest of the team that we were putting together, really. And I think you was in the demo team the whole time, wasn't it?
Pretty much, most of the time that we had one, I was on the team.
I still videos about on YouTube of
somewhere.
Still out there. Down at the cinema.
Oh yeah.
And obviously with the class, I would talk a lot about goal setting, and then you came out one day with this incredible goal, which was
to win an Oscar.
To win an Oscar.
Yes.
Which some people might have laughed at or whatever. And so what happened then? A series of events happened, didn't it?
That was, by that point I was in secondary school. I think I must have been about year 8, year 9. Because it was I think it was, because I definitely already completed my black belt by then. I might have been on to I think I was prepared for my second dan.
I think you're still quite young, actually, when that first came out.
When it first came out.
Yeah, when that first came out your mouth.
Yeah.
And I think you then started to put yourself into things like drama.
Yeah.
And, you were performing more then with the stuff we were doing. And then you were I think, a follow-up from that, you started to help out a little bit more at the academy. Yeah. You made some great friends. There was a good bunch of you then, around the same sort of age.
And it was, because initially you're right, initially when it came out I was still quite young, and I'd just gotten a taste for doing drama, because it was the end of primary school.
Because it was like an unbelievable thing that you just said at the time, because I remember, oh my God, this is the boy that was only crying a few years back, so, but and so and then I also remember, I know you were preparing for something at school. It was a play, because you shaved. You had like the afro, didn't you?
Yeah.
This is a
number of years on.
Yeah.
This was when I was in A levels. I did that.
Yeah.
That was a few years after we did. There's a musical called Dogfight, which is about a platoon of Marines.
Yeah.
And of course, we all had to get military style buzz cuts.
Right.
So it was one day, and we also did it like kind of joint for like charity and awareness as well, which was a nice thing to do. But so we all. One day, the director came in with a pair of clippers, and we all took turns sitting in the green room, like with newspaper on the floor, and
so pretty dedicated. So the point of all this is, you've said to me, and I remember you got up to third down in the end. It was a very emotional speech that you made, because that was not just because of the hard grading that you had, but obviously you're reflecting back on how martial arts have helped you. And really, the great thing is that you set this goal of this Oscar, and then it led on to you going to uni. What did you do at uni?
Yeah, I actually studied theatre at the University of Reading.
Yeah.
After studying drama at GCSE, at A level, and then taking it on to university.
So, I don't know if you're going to get an Oscar now or not, but what's your thoughts on that now?
My goals kind of have shifted as I've grown as a person. It was kind of thing I was very much into the acting at the very end of primary school and throughout most of my secondary school. Then when I went to A levels, I discovered more the producing and the directing side. So I started to get more of a taste for the backstage roles and the creative process that's involved in that, in the design elements. And then once I went to uni, I then furthered my awareness even more by becoming more and more interested in the stage design and technical design, especially, and the technician aspects of theatre. And that's where I am now. Is that?
And you just got your dream job.
Out of uni. I graduated in July. Yeah, I graduated in July. Finished my course in about April, and then I've been home for just over 3 months now, and it's been applying for jobs non-stop. It's become applying for jobs.
But I loved how you put it. I don't know, when I was speaking to you a few days back, I loved how you put it. You said, my full-time job has been applying for jobs. Yeah. And that's just on it, working all day, so hard to get.
It would be, since being at home, I'm extremely fortunate in moving back with my family and being as supportive as they are. And it means that I got myself a part-time job at a pub here in Cheltenham, and all the while kind of 9 to 5 most days at home, and even sometimes a bit later if I was preparing something for the next day, it would be working on my CVs, applying for jobs, sending emails to theatres, just probing and sending off applications as many as I can. And I lost track of the actual number, but I know it is probably up around the 100 mark, if not well over.
Wow, okay.
In terms of the actual amount of applications from when I started applying in April, once the course finished, it's over 100 applications that I've sent off. But a lot of them have come in the past 3 months when it became my full-time dedication to look for a job.
And so it's a private school?
Yeah, it's an independent school in London, where they and I get to be basically the theatre technician for their drama department. So I get to be kind of in charge and have a say over the technical direction and the technical design elements of the productions the school puts on, as well as helping out where I can with the teaching and making sure that all the GCSE and A-level students all have the technical support they need for their productions.
I think you've got a wealth of experience. I think that those kids are so lucky knowing how I know you, and just from that journey alone. So, and you said it wasn't maybe something you'd ever considered before, but now it's, as you've matured and...
It was, especially because I knew I wanted to go into technical theatre. Yeah. That side of it. That was kind of the aim coming out of university. And I knew the school option was there, but I hadn't fully considered it until this opportunity arose, and then I applied for it. And because in the job description it was this would be perfect for a recent graduate in theatre or stage design. So I threw my hat into the ring, because that's all you can do at the end of the day is throw your hat in the ring, and it came off. And it was only after kind of going through the interview and seeing how the school worked that I realised actually that's something that's vibing with me. And that thought of the education side and helping teach and help promote and give out what I've received in terms of teaching and positive energy.
You're still a martial artist. Always a martial artist. It is. It's learning and it's giving back. That's what it's about. And pretty much you had to stop because it was time to go uni. And
it's that rule of teach once, learn twice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I think, like I say, I've always been so proud. I'm proud of everyone that's, I've trained and taught, and just to see how anyone grows. And yours is an amazing story. I love it. I love sharing it. We still talk about it in class. So, we're talking a little bit about martial arts. I don't really say much about that, when we're on the mindset actually. But how did that martial arts training and not just everything, the personal development, because there was a lot of personal development I was putting into class. So, because for me, it was the knock-on effect to. It's great when you get a great martial artist, like yourself, but even more empowering is when they can take that mindset and apply it to all areas of their life, really. So how did?
Immensely. I don't think there's possible way to quantify the actual overall effect that martial arts has had on my life, but it's almost infinitely positive. Like most things I face where I face challenge or hardship in any way, I go back to some of the teaching that I learned doing Marlisk and doing martial arts under your tutelage, and it's one of the first things I go back to is do I need to change my approach? That's one of the first things that I go back to. Is it's like if you're doing something one way, and you'll find yourself running into a brick wall. Is it time to change the approach? And I even had that whilst I was looking for jobs, because I was sending off lots and lots of job applications, and I was just running into a brick wall. And I was getting so few responses back, and it was getting hard. And it's such a difficult thing to do.
It's all that crazy stuff I used to get you doing as well, kind of.
Yeah, okay. It's just that kind of like it's that desire to you've just got to keep going with it, got to keep going with it. And I realised it's like, well, something's not quite working here. Something's not quite clicking. Mm-hmm. And I realised, well, let's go back and have a full rewrite of my CV. Yeah. So I spent the majority of a week fully like taking like effectively starting with a blank sheet of paper and building it up all over again and reading different websites on what should be included in the CV, what shouldn't be included in the CV. Mm-hmm. And I made 2 or 3 versions. And then on different job applications, because it got to that point, I was sending different versions to like roughly the same job.
So
I'd find 2 or 3 that were the same job, and I'd send off the 3 different ones, and I'd see what kind of feedback I got. And then based on whether I got a response, if I got any feedback, how far it went, etc., I kind of then created this super CV from all the different parts of the other CVs. And then lo and behold, that's the CV that then led to, I think it was my 6th interview. Like in a very short space of time. And so I had like 6 interviews within about a month and a half, weeks. And it was those 6 interviews that then eventually led to this opportunity that I'm being able to take now. And ultimately it's come from that change of approach. And
not doing the same thing expecting. Well, I think we'll have to get you back for like some CV coaching.
There's so many good things online and helpful things online.
But until someone gets off there to do it, then I think I expect things like that do change as well, really. So well done. So this job's happening. You're going on Wednesday, and great things ahead, really. What just before we finish up, what have been the biggest things you might like? Has there been any hardships? I mean, we talked about the bullying in the past, but like even since at uni around now, I know with the looking for the job, is that stuff that you've had to kind of work on, overcome, and how do you go about it?
Of course, one of the big things that since being at uni and beyond, I've come to realise how much anxiety and depression has affected me. Because whilst it's not clinical, it's in no way it doesn't necessarily affect me day to day. I still have a series of days or a week where I can feel that I have a bit of a depressive episode, and part of that is because I've spoken to someone and like they've kind of talked me through and been like, yeah, that's what you're experiencing, that's what that is. It isn't a case of your body just decides to be lazy. It's a case of you're like it's the mentality, it's the lack of serotonin, etc., etc.
So that's cool. You're quite aware of it then.
And that's half the battle. With things like mental health is being aware of it and knowing the causes and the symptoms, and then knowing the best ways to treat it for you. Because especially like going back to those first classes where I was shaking and I had my hands up and what have you, it's like I realise now so much of that nervous energy that was coming out of me was anxiety. That's what that was. And you don't realise until you fully get a grasp on it and become fully aware of it. And then you begin looking back over your life and you can realise this isn't a new thing. This is just something that's been there. And perhaps it has a flare up and you become aware of it. But very often it's there your entire life, and it's just learning to deal with it in the best way possible. And for me, the best way I deal with it is through mindfulness. It's through meditation, journaling. I find helps a lot. Just getting everything that's in here, just getting it kind of out in some way. So that's what for me journaling is for. To help just kind of get it out, and then I find once I've got it out, I feel far more free and creative, and that's why very often like I do a bit of journaling and then I'll get on my laptop and I'll do like some creative writing, because since being at university I'm also I played a fair amount of Dungeons and Dragons, which I'm a huge fan of, and so like that kind of building a fantasy world as a dungeon master, like that's a great little creative thing.
It helps with all that, definitely.
And then with the anxiety, meditation really helps. That ability to acknowledge that you're having those thoughts, those anxious thoughts eating away you, and being able to just take a few deep breaths, focus on your breath, and allow those thoughts to come into your mind, register that they're there, but not actually interact with them. And then let them, and then realize that they're not actually realities. Because it's so often that anxiety truly gets a hold when your anxiety becomes your reality in your head. And that's where the line needs to be drawn in meditation, or however you deal with your anxiety, is that you need to realize it's like, but that's just an if. And if anything, if you can get to that state of awareness, and don't get me wrong, it's not perfect for me. I still have moments where it falters.
No, and I think that's the thing, is being aware is just total awareness on it, any of those things, really. And how old are you now?
I'm 21.
21, so what a great age to work that out, really, because it can, otherwise it just creeps up you later on. And as long as you keep working it, and something's always going to knock us off our perch a little bit, because that's life through things that just happen in life. But I think it just, you've got those tools that are built up. I don't know, from my point of view, even like martial arts, I've had my real low moments, but I wonder, had I not had martial arts, I wonder how it could have got worse, really. But so it's great stuff, Gareth. Thanks for coming in today.
My pleasure.
I'll get you in weekly, really. But I wish you all the best. I know you're going to succeed, and I look forward to when you pop in for the next update.
It'll probably be around Christmas time. I'll be back, so.
Definitely. Oh, that'd be nice. Good to hear. But there you go. So that's how I feel. For me, obviously taught. I don't know how many people I've taught. It must be well in the thousands. But it's just nice when you get the ones that stick it out. And credit to mum and dad, because it wasn't just you coming along. It was a lot of support of your parents as well.
It was an immense amount of commitment on their part as well. Sticking with it when I was throwing hissies. I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Well, we all have them. My kids have them, but it's part of their life. So, so I know what it can do. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. Please share and drop some comments or questions. Wish Gareth all the best, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace and love.
There it is.